I think we are all set. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to our session this evening, Courage to Create, Improv for Leaders. My name is Lanny Lirio, and I am a member of the Niagara Leadership Summit for Women Planning Committee. And thank you for joining us this evening. And before we begin this workshop, we acknowledge the land on which we live and work is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging it reminds us that our great standard of living is directly related to the resources and friendship of Indigenous people. The YWCA Niagara region is a local organization that stands for gender equity and gives a voice to the community. The YW offers emergency shelter and 3 stages of transitional housing to homeless women, men, and families to help its clients step by step break the cycle of homelessness and poverty for good. And now, more than ever, this work is critical for the wellness of our community. Learn more about YW and how you can support at ywcaniagararegion.ca. And we want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that our Niagara Leadership Summit for Women virtual event is designed to facilitate a safe and open space for all participants. By participating in this session, you are agreeing to follow our community guidelines, and you can find the guidelines on the left-hand side menu tab. So, are you ready to cultivate courage on the fly? Well, our speaker this evening will lead you through a series of improv exercises and games known to improve leadership skills and adding fun new tools to your leadership belt. You will learn skills to improve listening, communication, creativity, and self-confidence. Brie Watson is an improv, stand-up, and sketch comedian, a live comedy producer, and an improv instructor based in Niagara and Toronto. She co-hosts the Second City Training Center's Lockdown Jam and is the founder of Improv Niagara. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to Brie. Brie, take it away.
Amazing. Yes, thank you so much, Lanny. Thank you everybody for being here. I am so excited to be here. Yeah, welcome, and thanks to this wonderful organization or this wonderful event for taking place every year. Last year I participated as a participant, and I thought it was it like pulled me out of kind of this pandemic funk where I was like, nothing's going on, nothing. I need something, and this 3-day event really pulled me out of it, and so I'm glad to be able to participate this year. Right from the get-go, I want to address the fact that maybe you're wondering, oh, improv, that's just where a bunch of people make stuff up. That's call and mockery. That's whose line is it anyway? That's how on earth can this translate to leadership abilities? How could this possibly? It's a comedy thing. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm here to show you through different games and activities, like Lanny said, that many of the skills that we learn as improvisers that make us good improvisers translate so beautifully into a place that is beneficial to leaders, right? We learn, and I could list them, and I will. That's my job. I will list a couple of them. Improvisers, as well as good leaders, are open to ideas, interactions, and actions from their subordinates. We have the ability to share our personality and our authentic voice, build relationships, create teams that serve a bigger purpose. We can lead with passion, support, and protect teams that we create. Protection's a good one. We always say in improv that we have your back, we have each other's back. We can lead with integrity. I can keep going, and I might save it until after our first game. because that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be doing, I've selected a handful of improv games that serve functions beyond just being good for the stage, right? Beyond just making a good improviser. They translate beautifully to leadership abilities if we're willing to put them in these skills into practice. But just to begin, I'm going to ask a couple things. The first thing I'm going to ask is that you turn your camera on so we could all see each other's beautiful faces. This is a panel. This is not a panel. This is a conference about courage, so let's have the courage to turn our cameras on if we A, don't feel about it, or B, don't want people to see what we're cooking or eating. I personally am comfortable seeing what you're cooking. I'm personally very comfortable seeing what you're eating. I'm sure the rest of us are too. I'm not here to judge, because that's another thing about improv is we do not judge. We suspend judgment. We do not judge anybody else. We do not judge ourselves, because that catches us in traps and we never move forward. So if you're here right now and you're paying attention, please turn your cameras on. We're going to do just a little tiny introduction to sort of break into today's session. Somebody left instantly. As soon as it's like, let's turn the cameras on, they're like, dear God, get me out of here. Or it's an internet connection issue. Again, I'm not here to judge. So let's just do this really quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clap and send the focus to somebody, and I want you to answer one question to me right now. Actually, two questions. Let's see, two questions. Please forgive me if I have to drop off. That's okay. No worry. Bernie, I'm happy you're here, even just for however long you can. I appreciate you being here. This is exciting. Great. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to send the focus over to somebody. I want to know your name, and I want to know one thing that you love. And freeze right now. I'm sure you've thought about that thing that you love right now, right? I think you were able to identify that thing that you love. So that's the thing that I want to hear when you tell me the thing, or when it comes to you. Because what you might hear as we go around in the group sharing the thing that we love, somebody might say, like, I love, the work that I do that, benefits people in need. And somebody else might be like, I love my children. And somebody else might be like, I love my partner. And you were thinking this whole time, I love pizza, right? That's what I don't want you to judge your choice. We're just starting off right from the get-go. If that's the thing that you love, that's the thing that I want to hear. That's the first thing that came to your mind, and that is the correct answer. There are no mistakes in improv, only gifts. That's what we say over and over again. So I'm going to start. My name is Brie, and I love my kitty cat, but she's not here right now. Usually she's harassing all day during this presentation. She's been like coming up on the table, but she's not here right now. And I'm going to send it over to Melanie.
Hi, my name's Melanie, and I love my kids. Do you want me to send it on to the next person?
Yes, please.
I'm going to send it over to Kristen then.
My name is Kristen Smith. My pronouns are she and her, and I love the beach, being near water. I'm going to send it over to Colleen.
Hi, my name is Colleen, and I love being in nature. And I'm going to send it to Grace.
I am Grace. I love event planning conferences.
You're in the right business, Grace.
Pretty on brand for us here. I'll send it over to Stephanie.
I am Stephanie, and I love international travel. I will send it to Joanne.
Hello, I'm Joanne, and I love music. I will send it over to Bernie.
Hi, I'm Bernie, and I love Asian food.
Yeah. Who are you sending it to, Bernie?
Oh, I'm sending it over to Lenny.
I'm Lanny. I'm Asian. And I love taking naps.
And Lanny, who are we going to send it to? I guess there's Sam and Jane left. I don't know if Jane can hear us.
I'm sending it to Sam.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sam. I also use she, her pronoun. I love singing.
Amazing. Love it.
And I'll send it to Jane if she can hear us.
Yes, I'm Jane, and I'm sorry, my camera's off. I have a fractured foot that I have to put up in a pretty odd position that I didn't want everyone to see. And I love walking, and I miss walking because I have a cast on my foot.
I mean, Jane, I'm going to tell you this one thing, and that's if you've ever been in a safe space where people are not going to judge the positioning of your foot, it's right here in this improv workshop. So if you wanted to turn your camera on, we are not going to judge. We're here to support. We're here to lift you up all the way, because that's what we do in improv. That's what we do in conferences for women. So if you feel like
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you didn't brush your hair or put on makeup or anything, that's all good too.
That's right. That's true.
We're lucky to shower most days, so.
Oh, I actually have to step out for another meeting at 6:30 too. So, but thank you for.
I get it. I'll move on. Thank you, Jane. I love it. Okay, great. Wonderful. So guess what? We were just, number one, we were just very spontaneous with each other. Number two, we were both very vulnerable with each other, saying things that we care about. That's vulnerability, right? Let's jump into another topic right away, just because I am mindful of the time. Very, very quick warm up. This is a warm up that we do for our brains in improv. A lot of the times we'll do a warm up that stretches out our body and one for our brains. And since we're not moving around too much today, let's do one for our brains. This game is called 5 Things. It's about thinking spontaneously. It is about not planning what we're thinking. And it is about saying the first thing that comes to your head, which is also being in the moment, saying the first thing that comes to your head, not judging your choices, which again are all things that are very important as a leader to be able to do. So the way it works is this: there's a small song that goes with it. So I urge you to be courageous in singing it with me. It's very simple. It goes like this: 5 things, 5 things, 5 things, 5 things, 5 things. We got it? Very simple, right? Here we go. Let's give it a try. 5 things. 5 things. Right. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to pick somebody in the crowd. I might say, Colleen, tell me 5 things that you would find at the bottom of your passenger seat in your car. And then you're just going to list them. 1, where you're going to list, you'll say 1. It might be a shoe, and we'll all say 1, whatever the case may be. Here's the thing. You might get stuck along the way. Either you have a perfect car and there's nothing down there, so you're like, nothing, I vacuumed, right? Or maybe you know there's 3 things down there. The fact of the matter is, I do not want anybody to stop. I just want it to list. I want it to go like this: 1, that, 2, 3, 4, right? We're just going to list as quickly as possible. Yes, Joanne.
Can we make something up then?
Absolutely. There we go. Okay. A lot of the times we're thinking like improv. We think improv comedy right away, right? Because that's how we perform it. I am here to tell you that it doesn't have to be only perceived as comedy, right? A lot of the times these are skills that we can develop to help us think creatively, right? That's part of this. So if we're making things up right now for the sake of this activity, that's great. We're being creative. We're activating that creative muscle in our brain. I love it. But don't force yourself, right? To think like, my answer is to be more creative than anybody else's answer. That's putting so much pressure on yourself. So just try to relax and let that answer flow out of you. So let's try it again. We'll start from the beginning. Here we go. We'll do this song together. 5 things. 5 things. 5 things.
5 things.
Go to Stephanie. Stephanie, 5 things that you will not travel internationally without.
Okay, I was ready for the car. Passport,
1,
water bottle,
2,
backpack,
3,
running shoes,
4. Go,
AirPods.
There we go. 5, and then we're gonna sing again. 5
things.
5 things.
5 things. 5 things.
Why don't you all help me out by counting along with all of these? And now, Stephanie, I want you to pick somebody else and ask them 5 things that they might find, and you get to choose where they would find it.
Okay, Kristen, 5 things that you might find on a walk in nature.
Trees.
1.
Water.
2.
2.
Toads.
3.
Rocks.
4.
Four.
Smiles.
Aw, 5 things.
things.
Five things.
Five things, five things,
Five
five
things,
things.
five
things.
things.
Kristen.
Joanne, 5 things you might find in your purse.
Hand sanitizer,
One,
glasses,
two,
cell phone,
Three.
three,
pen,
Four.
four,
and a notebook.
Five.
things.
Things.
Five things, five things, five things. Five things.
I'll ask Grace, what are 5 things that you sometimes forget when you're planning an event?
To upload important content,
One,
to email my speakers back,
Two.
two,
to send out links to meetings,
Three.
three,
to update my team,
four,
and to show up on time to events.
Five
things.
things. Five things.
Five
Five
things,
things.
five things, five things. Five things.
Lonnie, what are 5 things on your kitchen counter right now?
Ooh, a lot. Bananas,
One,
dirty dishes,
two,
cheese string wrapper,
three,
vitamins,
four,
paper towel.
five things.
Five
Five things,
things.
five things,
Five things.
five
Five
things.
things.
Melanie, what are 5 things that you can find in your drawer?
Any drawer?
Yeah.
Okay. Spoons,
One.
pens,
Two.
candy,
Three.
dirty clothes,
Four.
jewelry,
Five things. Five things. Five things. Five things.
Five things.
Sam, what are 5 things you might find under your kitchen sink?
Ooh, Lysol wipes,
One.
paper towels,
Two,
scrubbies, like the scrubbies,
three,
tools right now,
four,
Four.
and cleaner, like all-purpose cleaner.
five
things.
Five things.
Five things, five things, five things. Five things.
Okay. Joanne. Oh, I didn't think. What are 5 things that you?
I've already had a turn. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'll do it again, but I want somebody else to take the turn.
Okay.
I love
I'm
it.
not
Hands up if
cooking,
you haven't
so
gone
I'm
yet.
like,
Hands up if you
no.
haven't had a turn yet. Hands up if you haven't had a turn yet. I think we got Bernie, we got Colleen, Jane, and we'll let Shanza know what we're doing.
Okay. Bernie, what are? Oh, it has to be where do you find them, or can it be like 5 things you wouldn't like put in your coffee or?
That's perfect, right there. That's perfect. Yeah.
So, or
Bernie,
maybe 5 things you would put in your coffee.
there we
5
go.
things you would put in your coffee.
I'm going to go with the first one.
All right.
Perfect.
5 things I wouldn't put in my coffee.
Yeah.
Sure.
My fingers,
One.
a spoon,
Two,
sugar, milk,
three, four.
Four.
and a shot of whiskey.
Five things. Five things. Five things. Five things.
Five things.
Okay, Bernie, who are you sending it to, Colleen or Jane?
Oh, thanks. That helps. Colleen.
Oh, and you got to give her 5 things.
Oh, Colleen.
Identify.
What are 5 things you'll find in the back of your freezer?
Frozen peas.
1,
Pierogies.
2,
Old ice cream bars.
3,
Broccoli. Frozen broccoli.
4,
And pizza.
5 things. Five things.
Five things.
Jane, you're
Jane.
there. You ready for this one, Jane?
Yep.
Okay, what are 5 things that should have been taken out of your fridge long ago?
Sour cream, cheese,
2,
grapes,
3,
pears,
4,
4,
and avocado.
5.
5 things. 5 things.
5 things, 5 things, 5 things, 5 things.
And Shanza, are you here? Am I pronouncing your name right? Are you here? Are you ready to play? Okay, Shanza's just watching. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. Huge round of applause. Beautiful. Oh, Shanza, you are here. Can you are you able to turn your mic off to play?
Okay, I'm actually on the water cooler as well, so there's not much happening there. But
I got you. I got you. Okay, then maybe Colleen. No, Jane, do you have one for Shanza? I'll go real quick. Shanza, list me 5 things that you would put, 5 things in your gym bag currently.
water,
1,
apple,
2,
banana,
3,
mat,
4,
4,
towel,
5 things. 5 things. 5 things.
5 things, 5 things, 5
5
things.
Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Woo, woo, woo. Does anybody have one for me? I'd like to try one. I want to warm my brain up right now. Anybody?
I'll ask you.
Thank you, Joanne. Let's go for it.
5 things that you love about improv.
The spontaneity.
1,
The
1,
surprise.
2,
Being goofy.
3,
Being loud.
4.
Being anything. Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I could have listed that forever. That was great. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's break this down. This is just a warm up, but did anybody notice anything about this game? Did you notice something about yourselves? Did you notice something about others? Let's chat. Yeah, Lonnie.
First, it's not just it's like interesting what other people find in their drawers or things that they won't travel with, and for some reason, like you kind of relate to them.
Lonnie, I love that. How important is it for us as leaders to be interested in what our colleagues, in what our subordinates have to say, right? A lot of the times, the worst leaders out there are the ones who, always impose what they want without considering what everybody else has to say. I think the idea of having a curious attitude, not only just curiosity, but genuinely interested in what other people have to say, right? Allow yourself to be surprised. Allow yourself to say, oh, look at this. Look how different this is than look how many things Melanie has in her drawer that I would never put in a drawer, that's awesome. I love that, Lonnie. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Yes, Colleen.
Because you took away our ability to plan what we would answer, and this goes against the spirit of improv, I found myself trying to think of something really creative to ask the next person for 5 things.
Well, I mean, in this case, I think it's okay. I think if you want to, I think it's fine. Because if you are challenging If you are challenging yourself to be creative in this case, I think that's great. In this moment, you weren't asked to be like, go spontaneous, right? You were asked, okay, what's a nice question you can ask? But as long as you didn't judge your question, and I don't think any of us judged the question either. I think in this case, it's like, yeah, I want to make sure. It was like you were honoring her by saying, I want to make sure she's got a good question. I want to make sure she can answer a good question. So
Great positive spin.
Yeah, that is improv. We say yes. Anybody else to the 5 things? And this is even if you just need to. Oh yeah, go ahead, Stephanie.
Yeah. I think along the creativity line, I felt like with more practice, if we did it again and again, I think my answers might have been more free or fun or creative. And I think I was thinking pretty literal at first. So I don't know. I think you mentioned that in the beginning that it is a tool to help us grow our creativity. And I can definitely see how if we did it again, my answers might be more free or fun or silly or just out there.
Absolutely. It takes us a little bit of time to sort of warm up to it, to warm into the process of improv, and to get to a place where we feel comfortable freely sharing all of our ideas, as silly as they may be, or in the case of business, as, you know, maybe out of left field as they may be. And I think that goes with trust, and it goes with practice. So, you know, I encourage you, take 5 things to your office, take 5 things to your workplace, and give it a try, get more comfortable with it. And then you'll be like aliens, Martians, it's all aliens at this point, yo-yos, go-go dancers, right? Then you'll be able to do
Yeah.
all kinds of more fun, creative things. Absolutely. Not, of course, to say that your answers were not creative. They were creative, but you're right. You will allow yourself a bit more leeway once you're more comfortable with the process, for sure. Anybody else? Any other realizations? If you don't have any, that's okay. We can move on to the next. Oh yeah, I love it. Joanne.
I just realized that when I was giving my answer and when other people were giving their answers, I was visualizing in my mind what might be in my drawer or what I would take on my trip.
That's
I was
amazing.
thinking it was a practical, like I'm still being too practical and not creative, but it was in my mind. I could see it.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. What an exciting process. I'm just asking you to list a thing, and now you've got the image of it built in your mind. What else can we add to that image, right? What else can we paint in this picture? I think is something that you've tapped into there. That's really exciting. I love it. Kristen.
There was a lot of laughter, and just it came really easily, and even like our postures changed, I think, as well. So there was like a certain level of comfort, and you could see how that could be useful on a team, just to like laugh together, or like, where did the word toad come from on my end? Like
I love
those kind of
toad.
things,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think we all know laughter is the best medicine. Laughter in improv doesn't come from being right. It doesn't come from having the right answer. It comes from an unexpected answer, a surprising answer, an answer that comes to you naturally, but that surprises us, right? So you're never going to get the same laugh as you do if you're like, I've written this joke perfectly, as you will in a completely spontaneous moment. There are a few things that I think were very interesting about this round, and I wonder if it's because we're a group of women and Bernie, is that there was a lot of the answers were very honest, and there were a lot of answers that came straight from the heart. And then, so there were a couple moments where we're like, "Aw," which is rare. Like, we're not trying to make each other laugh. We're not trying to be the best. We're not trying to have the right answer. We're just answering honestly, and I think that's pretty powerful stuff. And another thing that I found is the more specific we got, the more interesting the answers were. So for example, when Sam was giving us descriptions and, you know, using hand gestures, we really got the understanding of what it is that she was describing. She gave us some very good specifics, and I think that's important in leadership too, right? The clearer your directions can be, the clearer your vision, the better everybody understands. Oh my goodness, and we got that from the warm-up, ladies and Bernie. Welcome, Sam is back. The next game I want to play is a game for pairs, and it's sort of it's not sort of, this is the fundamental message of improv that I want to share with you. And if you've heard anything about improv, or if you've done any improv before, you've heard this before. Ooh, hang on, let me go back to my list of things that improv is good for as far as leadership goes. All right, improv will help us live in the moment, have a state of mindfulness, be self-aware. How important is self-awareness as leaders, right? How many leaders have you had that have been so, or bosses that are completely not self-aware, and you're like, oh my goodness, if you only knew. Adaptability, make changes in the moment, postpone judgment, influence, inspire, and engage others. Listen and observe with focus. Ooh, that's another one for later. Allow for humility and vulnerability. Where are my Brene Brown fans out there, right? Vulnerability, come on. Accept a willingness to be wrong and ask for help. Ooh, that's another thing. Again, I mentioned there are no mistakes in improv, only gifts. We cannot see things as being mistakes, because then we're going to be afraid to try. We're going to be afraid to do things if we're worried constantly about being wrong or making mistakes. So in improv, we encourage it. In fact, there are many games we play where it's like, be wrong on purpose. Get comfortable with this feeling, because you're going to be wrong in life. this isn't school anymore. In school, you're trained to be like, you have to have the right answer. Well, that's not the way it is in life. In life, we make mistakes. That's how we learn. That's how we get better. So right now, we're going to go into a game that focuses on the concept of yes and. Bernie, thanks for coming. It's all good. It's nice to see you. We're going to focus on this concept of yes and. In improv, this means accepting offers. Pretty much everything in improv we call offers, which is kind of nice when you think about it. It's an offer. A line of dialogue is an offer. A wink is an offer. Often if we're doing a live show and somebody, makes a noise and somebody coughs in the audience, that's an offer. We can use that. We can build on it. So right now, we're the idea of accepting an offer and then building on it is sort of the fundamental rule of improv. And I think it's so powerful for business as well. The idea as a leader that you are, let's say, giving an idea out, or you need to work on an idea, on building an idea with your team. The idea of saying, this is the idea, let's build on it together. Let's work on it together. Somebody might come in and say, okay, well, here's an idea. Yes, that's great. And I think we could do this. Yes, this is great. And I think we could do this, right? The idea of suspending or postponing judgment. A lot of the times, managers want it done a certain way, or leaders want it done a certain way. And if we suspend that no, or that my way or the highway attitude for just a little bit, it's amazing the kinds of ideas that we can generate in a group, or even on your own, or even if you just have a teeny tiny team. The idea of yes and is so important. So we'll just do this one version very quickly. Grace and Colleen, I just want you to have a little conversation for all of us between you, back and forth, where with each sentence you begin with the words no, but. So if Grace, we can make the conversation about, let's make it about event planning, right? So Grace, you could start at something like, I can't wait. Well, I love event planning. And then Colleen, your job will be to say no, but, and then give a piece of information there. And then Grace, your job will be to say no, but, and we're going to go back and forth and just see how that feels. All right, start us off, Grace.
Okay, I love event planning at the summit.
No, but don't you find it kind of stressful?
No, but there are a lot of things to coordinate all at once.
No, but it means that you can't just sit back and participate and enjoy it yourself.
No, but it's great to have a good team, don't you think?
No, but there's always one person who's going to be a big headache.
All right, I'll stop it right there. How did that feel for you two? How did that feel for you two?
Very negative.
Right? Right?
And super awkward. Are we always supposed to ask a question?
Oh, that's a good point, right? A lot of the times it felt like we had to try to start over again, right? So yeah, that's what happens with a no. A no shuts an idea down, and now you feel like you have to try again. Hello, Counselor Littleton. Feel free to turn your camera and mic on. Look at that. It's lovely to have some local politicians doing some improv. I love it. Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. We're talking a little bit about the idea of yes and right now, and we just saw an example of no but. When you say no, you shut an idea down, right? When you say but, that's another interesting one. Let's try this again. Let's go with Joanne and Stephanie. And this time I want, again, a conversation. Let's talk about international travel, because as soon as Stephanie said that, I was like, I want to go to New York.
I know.
So international travel, and we're going to say, instead of no but, we're going to say yes but. So let's just give that a try. Yes but. Here we go. Let's take a look at this.
Stephanie, I hear you like international travel.
Yes, but I've been stuck in Canada for a long time.
Yes, but so have many other people.
Yes, but I like traveling more than other people.
Yes, but you might think you like traveling more than other people, but you don't know there's other people that might like it more than you.
Yes, but most of my family members live internationally.
Yes, but maybe they kind of just want a break from visitors for a while.
Beautiful. I love it. What a burn. I love it. Yeah, give a round of applause. I forgot. We should be clapping. This is how we clap in improv right now online. It's a sign language for clapping. Because when you're doing this, I feel online, there we go. I love the little emojis help too. But this online, then you can't hear each other. So that's why we tend to do this. But that was wonderful. We saw huge arguments here. How did this feel for you, Joanne and Stephanie? How was that?
I didn't like it.
Right?
Oh, it felt like arguing.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
It's that word but, right? The word but. It's basically a no. I read an article once about how the word but tends to basically completely erase everything that came before it, right? And I always use this one as an example. If ever you've heard anybody say, look, I'm not a racist, but you're like, nope, I don't need to hear what's coming next. I know what comes after this, but let's avoid the word but. So in improv, we tend to use yes and, not we tend to use. That is our founding principle. If ever you see anything that makes fun of improv, it's always because of yes and. But that's because it's so crucial to this process. And what I would like right now is we're going to play a big old game of yes and all together. Are we all pretty comfortable changing our names? Are we all pretty comfortable with that ability, that function? Great. So Lonnie, you're going to be number 1. So if you just put 1 either in front of your name or after your name. Kristen, number 2. Grace, number 3. Colleen, number 4. Melanie, number 5. Joanne, number 6. Stephanie, number 7. Samantha, number 8. Shanza, number 9. And Lori, if I may, number 10. I'll be number 11. So either take note of that or if you're able to change your name, go for it. What we're going to do is we're going to build a story together by using yes and. So Lonnie will start us off with just a nice little basic intro to a story. We can think about all of the intros to good stories usually start with a little once upon a time. So you have once upon a time and you'll give us something, right? Once upon a time there was an elk named Bruce, right? Or something like that. Then Kristen, you will add, you'll say yes and Bruce loved to drink from the local lake, right? That's what just add one tiny little piece of information. You don't need to carry the story. You don't need to make it huge. You don't need to make it the most creative thing. You don't have to make it the most original thing. You just have to add one tiny piece to this story. There's a big thinker in improv whose name was Del Close, and his big thing was don't bring a cathedral, or don't bring a cathedral. Come on, Brie, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Don't bring a cathedral, bring a brick. Let's build this thing together, which I think is beautiful. And let's talk about like the teamwork process, right? The role of the leader in the teamwork process. How incredible is an exercise like this? Let's give it a try. So when our numbers are all updated, I love it. Lonnie, why don't you start us off?
On a beautiful fall day, Janie decided to go on a hike.
Beauty.
Yes, and while she was on this hike, she came across some woodland creatures.
Yes. And these woodland creatures could speak, and Janie could hear what they were saying.
Yes, and she learned more from the woodland creatures than she'd ever learned from a human.
Yes, and one of the creatures was a raccoon.
Yes, and the raccoon was the wisest of all the woodland creatures, or so he thought.
Because he also had a reputation for being a trickster.
Yes, and he decided to question Janie with a question.
And yes, he got disappeared.
Yes. And then he spent half of the time running around the city of St. Catharines because he couldn't find any acorns.
Yes. and he decided to head over to Mate Cafe where he would have a delicious, tasty soup instead. All right, we'll end it there. This all turned out to be one big promotion for the city of St. Catharines. Well done. We're now part of the marketing department for the city of St. Catharines.
Good job, Lori. That's how you got where you are.
I love it. Now that was great. Do we see how we started with such a tiny, teeny little nugget of an idea, and we brought it like into this forest? Where how creative was it that Janie learned more from the forest animals than any other human she had met in her entire life. What a powerful thing. And then she met this trickster raccoon. Come on, these are beautiful ideas. And we see how we start from one tiny little nugget of an idea, and we can really expand on that and come up with something truly wonderful, especially if we suspend judgment, right? Especially if there's no, yes, Colleen.
Brie, I just wanted to say it was very interesting too, how the focus shifted completely off of Janie.
Yeah.
Right? Who was the starting point of the story.
Right? We can do that as long as we accept it. We can go in all kinds of different directions for sure. Did anybody else notice anything interesting, or did something surprise you? I realize I'm very conscious of time right now. So let's like quickly fire them off, because this is it. We gotta let's use our spontaneity here. Was anybody else? Yeah, Sam.
I froze when it came to me, like, even though I knew I was number 8 and I was anticipating having to say something, like there was no like time for me to like plan. So I was just like, in my head.
That's perfect. That's the place I know it feels uncomfortable, but that's the place where we want to be in improv. We want to be in a place where we can think completely spontaneously, completely in the moment. We don't have to worry about planning. It's not that we don't have to worry. We don't have to be bogged down by planning, right? We could come to a place of a free mind where we can be creative without judgment. And that's how we come up with new ideas, fresh original ideas, fresh original pieces to this beautiful story that involve disappearing animals, I feel like we just got to scratch the surface today of improv, but I'm so grateful that you all went on this little journey into the forest with me today. If you have further questions about improv or how it can help in business or in leadership, please let me know. I'll pop my email address into the chat, and you can reach out to me. But most of all, give yourselves a huge round of applause for, putting yourselves out there and having some fun. Well done.
All right. Thank you, Brie, for